Wake the F up. It's funny, man. I just had an experience at Costco. An experience, to say the least. They got new scanners for your card and like some exclusive P. Diddy freak-off party. I was denied entry. Happily, though. I don't want to give my money. Not if they're going to have that kind of attitude. And it's interesting to see working class people, people who sell their time for a wage, usually not an appropriate amount. Think about that. When you go to work, you're selling your time for a certain amount of money. That's why I believe in unions. That's why I believe in organizing, because collectively we can demand more. I mean, minimum wage nationally hasn't raised in 15 years. And you can thank corporations for that. Their lobbying, their owning of politicians. Remember, they used to be called public servants. They don't serve the public no more. But Costco denying me entry, even though my wife and her mom share a membership. They're paid money. I've been in many times. There's no secret. Like when I Karened out and I said, I'd like to speak to your manager. I just wanted to get their understanding of the rules that Costco set. It's always funny how corporations like to set their own rules, which they abide by like it was some law in America, which I've had firsthand experience with. Starbucks policies, which I was told by my district manager that Starbucks policies are kind of like laws when you're in the Starbucks building. I asked him if they trumped American laws because he was breaking them. He's still breaking them. It's interesting to hear about people who think they're above the law tell you to enforce it or that you got to play by it. I always enjoy that. People breaking the law telling you to abide by it. But Costco, now they got, what's up, JM? Talking about experience I once had 5 minutes ago. Getting denied entry into Costco. And I said, so let me get this straight. And the thing is this is all made up bullshit. Okay? It's all made up. Whatever Costco says their laws are, it's just made up. It said because my wife sent me to do the errand, I couldn't go in. Could not go in. And the manager said, well, because we have exclusive pricing. I said, I know your pricing, bitch. I've been in here before. Don't act like this is some P. Diddy freak-off party. We're getting the paperwork. We know. We know what's happening in there. We know. We've read the indictments. But I said, I know. I said, my wife just didn't want to place it online. She wanted me to come in. What the hell am I doing? What the hell are you doing, Josh, with that avatar that looks awesome? What, did you make that? Yeah, getting kicked out of Costco. Well, I didn't get kicked out of Costco. I got denied entry. If you haven't been to Costco lately, they got ID scanners now for your card. And I was told because I'm not on it, because I'm not on the card, I can't go in. I said, so let me get this straight. I could go home, place the order, and you guys can't do shit about it? They say, yeah, well, because we're not there. I said, then how does this make any sense? What are you enforcing, dum-dums? And I didn't say that to them because I respect the working class people, but I said as somebody who works an hourly wage, working class to working class, I said, does that make any sense to you? My parents are dead, you moron, Nico. Philly. Yeah, you did. You did. My parents been dead for a long time, Nico, you maroon. Jesus. I love when people do that, when they're like, oh, stop leeching off your parents. And I've had people who also say, you got to live with your parents until you can afford to buy a house. That's why you didn't afford to buy one. I'm like, bro, my parents have been dead since I was in my early 20s, okay? My brothers, when they were teenagers. We haven't had parents in forever, all right? I know some people like to claim self-made. I've witnessed those motherfuckers. But listen, when you meet somebody who's really done it a lot on their own, because I'll be the first to tell you, I've gotten enormous amounts of help. When I was homeless, I had friends let me stay with them. When I was carless, I've had people help me out. I mean, you can't make it in this society without help. So that hard-ass Nico attitude that you got is phony. If you want to pretend like you've done everything on your own, then I would like to see the roads that you fucking paved. Huh? That's what I would like to see. How did you pave the roads? How did you do the lines in the road? How did you make the electricity come? You don't do it on your own. And that's the whole fucking point I'm trying to make. When I said to this lady, working class to working class, I said, does that make any sense? I said, because at the end of the day, what does this company want? What does Mr. Costco want? Because I guarantee these people don't even know who the CEO is or how much he's paid. But you should know. What do they want? Does anybody know? Anybody know in the comments? What does Costco want? Do they want to make sure only certain people come into their exclusive club? No. What do they want? Money. It's the only language they speak. Money. That's it. So by denying me to come run an errand for my wife, I said, you know, I'm telling her right away, like, cancel this shit. Don't spend money here. Fuck these people. The funny thing is I could go home, place this order, have it delivered, no problem. I said, but then they get what they want, the money. That's all they care about. I said, and that's the irony, because I was going to come in here and spend money. And if they don't meet Wall Street's expectations, I talk about this a lot. Good. Yeah, Ghost 333. You got it. Richard. Yeah, we got people in here knowing what the fuck is up. It's the only language they speak. When a corporation tries to tell you, here's our mission statement, and here's our purpose, and here's this. Whenever they say, like, one sip, one cup, one community, that's all bullshit. Go on an earnings call. They have me here on YouTube. On their earnings call, what do they always say? They always start with, well, we met or did not meet Wall Street's expectations. And Wall Street does not expect you to care about the community, okay? Let's be very clear on that, folks. Wall Street cares about how much money you made. And that's it. That's it. It's all about the money. So when you speak that language, and that's why I try to tell these working class people, that's what being woke is. You wake up to this shit. You see through the matrix. This is all fake, folks. Reality is just a simulation. Check out Neville Goddard. But when you try to tell them, like, listen, I'm going to stop spending money here, and that don't affect me, but it will affect you, because if this company doesn't meet Wall Street's expectations, what do we have here in America? Does anybody know? I say it all the time. We have a layoff season, and it usually hits around every financial quarter where a company doesn't do well enough. And that layoff season doesn't affect me, but if I stop spending money here, and layoff season comes to Costco, it's going to affect you people. And that's what I don't want to do. So having this rule where I can't come in because it's my wife's account or whatever the fuck they were saying, that doesn't make sense. Because if I could go home and place the order for my wife, you can check the ID at the door, but you can't check it at home. So how does any of this make sense? And I have the solution to fix that for Costco. I'm not going to tell them. But there's a way to, you know, euthanize every avenue for people in the same household. Remember, me and my wife are married, so it's funny that I couldn't do that. But that was just a little extravagant trip I got to experience today, and everything comes to you for a reason. So I was hoping to wake those people up. And the lesson for me, there's probably quite a few. But I usually need time to reflect before I can learn any lesson, like any good lesson learner. So that was my experience at Costco, and needless to say, they won't get my money again. So good luck, Wall Street's expectations next quarter, Costco. I gotta look up their CEO. I'm guessing he has a compensation package within the millions, which, if you want to know why our country's going to shit, what bugs me is people have these Trump flags up, right? And the Trump flags say, take America back. And I always go, from who? Who are we taking back America from? Trump is a self-proclaimed billionaire, so don't believe he's that, but he's a wealthy corporation. He licenses his images, so he's a wealthy corporation business owner who said he doesn't like to pay people overtime, and much worse about working class people. Who are we taking it back from? Because as far as I know, there aren't many immigrant corporations that own all the businesses. Like, you could go from here to California, coast to coast. The only shopping you can do is Target or Walmart. So it's like, Who are we taking it back from? As far as I know, it's owned, bought, and paid for by the corporations in America. Good morning, Kevin Hawthorne. Sorry, I'm getting the old frustration out because I don't like to see working class people upholding billionaire laws. I don't like it, especially when I'm just trying to help them. I'm trying to spend money at your exclusive club, you know? And the funniest part was when I was like, so I could just go home and do the thing that you're saying I can't do. So you're saying like I can't do it here, but I could just go home and still do it. I'm not gonna spend the money, but you're saying like here you have this little bit of power that's a facade that was given to you by the vest you wear. But that doesn't translate to like if I just went to the parking lot and ordered it. Fucking weird, man. Wilco, roger that. What's up? I would say I'm an anarchist, socialist. I don't know. Is that a liberal? I'm a unionist. I'm a labor people party. I'm a workers party. I don't fit into the red or blue. I'm neither. And I've known that since I was 15. Whenever you get your learner's permit, since the 90s. When I first registered to vote, when you get your license or your permit, you can register. And I registered for the Green Party. I said, fuck the red and blue. I'll still love you. Roger that, roger that. And listen, I still love you. Why? Because if you go to work for a living, that's my party. My party is the people that get up every day and sell their time, their hours to a corporation. I stand for you. That's it. I don't stand for any fucking politician. All right? I don't stand for any divide. I stand for the people who go to work for a living. All them heads, everybody, managers to the bottom, middle management, top management, all the way down. I stand for them. That's why it's funny when people are like, you're a liberal, you're the... I'm not. What I care about is people working one job, going on vacation, affording rent and food. That's where I stand. So now that we cleared that up, have you seen that Amazon Prime is going to start putting more commercials, more ads, and ads? I forget what they call them. Shoot, I've been so sidetracked with my little diversion. But Amazon Prime they introduced ads, even though you were paying for their exclusive Prime membership. You can't just get that anywhere. The free people already got the ads. Now you get ads, but now they're going to go heavier on the ads. And people are just going to take it. And even in the article that I linked down below, they said, because people, the language is always so funny, because they were like, people tolerated it. And I was like, no, they don't have a choice. You know, people can't get through these ads quick enough. If they didn't have them, you'd probably get more people. But we'll see, because if they're pumping more ads and subscriptions drop, I don't have an Amazon Prime subscription. I try to watch nothing through that service. But again, do you think, and this is just what I want to ask people with this new story about Amazon putting in more ads, do you think Amazon is failing? Do we think that they're going to go out of business? And if you truly think that, if you think Amazon Prime is going out of business, let me ask you, where should it start? Where should they start looking? Because it's always interesting to me that companies that don't meet Wall Street's expectations, when their revenue isn't, not that their profits aren't big enough, because we've seen corporate profits are historic. They are never been bigger. But it's not that their profits aren't enough. It's that they're not enough for a certain people, the CEO, the ultra uber wealthy. Like Jeff Bezos said, he wanted to thank everybody for paying for him to go to space. That's what the profits go to. But it's always fascinating to me that when these stories break, when these things come out, that they always have massive layoffs of people who make the least amount of money. Like if you wanted to save money, what would make more sense? Laying off a ton of people who make a little bit, or cutting into the huge, huge, huge $1 million compensation packages? Why do you never hear CEOs going, oh, we didn't meet our expectations of historic profits. We got to cut back on CEO and upper management pay. Well, number one, because they make the rules and they would never touch their own pay. They're too busy building yachts and going to space. But wouldn't that make more sense? It's just like when you saw when you saw the IRS get funded and they said, we started auditing wealthy people because we just weren't auditing any millionaires because poor people can't pay a lawyer to fight it. Poor people can't, hire an attorney and go through this. So the wealthy people have lawyers on retainer. But once we started auditing the millionaires, we discovered they all owe a ton of money. And we got way more money than auditing like thousands of poor people. So with just basic logic, if people at the top are making the most, how come every layoff season they're firing the people who make the least? Just think about it. We don't need all the answers right now, but just think about it. Let's just wake up to this stuff. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Amazon Prime right now. Link in the description. If you are new, I do a newsmentary, patent pending. It's a new genre that I created, even though it's been going on forever. But I call it newsmentary. It's a live news commentary channel. I go every weekday, 5 days a week. If you could hit subscribe, it would mean a lot to me. I'm trying to get to 7 million subscribers. And I'm talking about Amazon Prime saying that they introduced ads a little while ago, but just a few. And now they're introducing more. They're going to go heavy on the ads. And one of the ads was like, you could click to buy the product, which I thought was funny. In the Reddit comments, people were saying, yeah, people are always going to want to buy the stuff that's interrupting their show. Sadly, it does work, but I thought the way they phrased it was funny. Like, hey, honey, remember that laundry detergent that interrupted our binge of that show? We should buy that. Or clicking on something in the middle of your show. Well, that was the funny part, is with the new technology, I guess with Amazon, you can now buy something directly while they're, instead of skip ad, it will be like purchase product. Which, who is going to be watching, the season finale of Game of Thrones and being like, oh, laundry detergent, let's buy that and not finish the episode. It's just, and the CEOs get a $10 million bonus, 100%. Ruda, thank you for subbing. Skipping my love, I see how you are. Say hi. Oh, what's up, Say hi? I haven't seen you. So yeah, so I'm talking about how Amazon, and again, if you're new here, I link everything we talk about down below. But how Amazon said they're going to be introducing more ads, and ads where you can purchase the product while the ad is running, which I thought, YouTube will probably, everyone's probably going to do it. Well, I think YouTube already does this because I've clicked on ads in the wrong spot on YouTube and it will bring you to an outside source outside of YouTube. But it's just weird because it's like, think about it. If you're, whatever show you're watching, if you're in the middle of it, right, and it cuts to an ad, are you going to want to go and purchase a product and not finish the show? Like, nobody's going to want to do that. But these are the genius ideas. I always like to say now, is this the stuff that's commensurate with the pay? Like the people that are making those $10 million bonuses, are they the ones coming up with press on the ad in the middle of your show? Because I don't know if that idea is worth it. We'll see, right? It's hilarious. But it's frustrating for me because I go, why are they doing this? Companies like to position. What I hear all day at my work is the budget. It's in the budget. Not in the budget. We can't budget. We don't have the budget for it. And I said, do you understand how much, oh wait, holy shit, is today October 3rd? Does anybody know? Is today October 3rd? I can't look into my phone. I don't have any way to tell besides my phone. My buddy just texted me. If it's October 3rd, it's been... Damn. It's been way over a decade. October 3rd for India. What's up? Shout out to India. All my people out in India. Stay strong. Yeah, it's October 3rd. It's my mom's anniversary. Her death anniversary. Sorry, I didn't mean to get sidetracked like that. I just realized it. A lot of years ago today, my mom died. That's funny how in the beginning of this live stream, some dude told me to stop leeching off my parents. Right, okay. How do I do that? Oh, thank you. It's been a long, long time. But I got a text from a friend who always sends me a text on the anniversaries, and today's been kind of hectic with the kids and all that. So I didn't even take a moment to realize, but you know, just let that be let that be something for you, you know. If there's someone that you haven't talked to or whatever, reach out to them, tell them you love them, let them know. If you got parents still, you know, just thank them for at least providing, you know, an upbringing to you. Yeah, lost my uncle a week ago. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man. It's brutal. Those are the moments in life where, and that's, you know, just so everybody knows, Wilco, Roger, that you asked me if I'm a liberal and stuff. This is why I'm where I stand. The ground I stand on is sacred. Because at the end of the day, corporations can have all their bullshit positioning and mission statements, but they don't care. You know, no corporation goes home at the end of the day and just wants to hang out with their wife and kids or jump on PlayStation or, you know, read a book. Or these corporations don't give a shit, but the people who work there do. The working people do. And they don't live to work. We don't live to work. And there used to be a time in this country where you could work one job and afford to live and enjoy your life and have some time off. And everyone I talk to, almost 100% of the people I talk to, if I'm like, oh, did you enjoy whatever day off? And it's never like, oh, they went on a long vacation or they went and did something. Like, I haven't talked to somebody who's been on vacation a long ass time. And my circle is smaller than most, so it's not a huge, you know, this isn't like a huge sampling, but I'm just saying I do talk to a lot of people. And that's sad for me. So my position has always been like, you know, there was a day, and I remember it, where you could work and live in this country. And now most people, you know, my wife's working 2 jobs. I don't care about your politics, really. Oh, I didn't think you did, but I just want to explain because, you know, when we talk about, like, that's the one thing that always reminds me of, like, my mom, before she died, this was before the Occupy Wall Street movement took place. She would use her lunch break to go down and protest, saying, make schools, I have the protest signs, the photo. It said, like, make schools, make food. It was like basically like provide the bare essentials for people before you make war. You know, she was part of like the anti-war, anti-greed, uh, uh, anti-greed protest, which culminated into she passed before the Occupy Wall Street, but she definitely would have been a part of that. But there was, if you look this up, and the only reason I know because my mom was part of it, she would send me photos. But before the Occupy Wall Street movement happened, there were already protests going on about the greed going down. So she was part of that, and you know, she just raised me like that. There's no other, you know, she was an orphan who was raised in Brooklyn. And I'm so grateful for my step family, which I didn't know my step family till I was older. And she came from the utmost poverty. And when I finally got to meet her real family, they're amazing people. They're mostly all union, union steel workers, iron workers. They build the big, big buildings. So somehow it's in my blood. But you know, it always bums me out when we have things like this with Will Colt Roger, that to hear your uncle pass, and it's like you just hope that people, before they have to leave this earthly realm, they're not spending all their days working 3 jobs. You know, that's what drives me nuts, is that you would hope that, or I would hope for you, that you got to have those moments with your uncle before he passed, if he wasn't sick or whatever. Most people I know, they don't pass like in a hospital after months. There's no goodbyes. It's like very brief and very abrupt and very ground shaking and shocking and devastating and too young. But you just hope that people, before they die, because sometimes people don't realize before it's too late that, oh shit, I need to wake up to, like, I shouldn't have to just work 360 days a year and have 5 days off for the major holidays and then, you know, just trying to survive. Like, that's bullshit, man. And that's where I stand. So I know people don't care, or a lot of people care, but I know some people just ask that, or it's like a trolling thing too, which I know you're not trolling me, but I like to explain it because where I come from is a great place of loss. I've lost my parents when I was young. My brothers were even younger than me. They were like 15 and 17 when we lost my dad, and then not long after my mom. And I've seen the devastation. But it also gave me a great appreciation for... No, I know you're not trolling. It gave me a great, deep, profound appreciation for the moments in life. And I don't always take advantage of that, but it's important, you know, that we aren't robots to this machine. He was the Air Force, eventually retired from. Well, salute to him. Big salute. This one goes out to your uncle and my mom. May they be rested in peace. That's sad, man. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah. It's hard to transition from this back into Amazon Prime, but I just want you to think, because you're going to hear about this. This is obviously a big service, Amazon Prime, and then putting more ads for people who are paying. It just doesn't make sense. And once we start to question that, whatever answers you derive from it, I've derived my own, but think about that. Is Amazon failing? I mean, they got like a space program. They own everything. They make a lot of money. And it's not because of the people who are fighting for more money. You know, those people, remember, the people who you see are unionizing and organizing and fighting for more money, they're doing it not because they're going on multiple vacations or going to space on vacation. They're doing it because they can't afford groceries anymore. They can't afford to shop at the places they work. So once you take that into tow, and you can look up how much Amazon made profit year over year, you know, net profit, gross profit. Look up all these things. These are important things to understand. And once you start looking at that, you wonder, well, why are they giving us more ads? They're not a failing company. They're not, you know, selling parts right now. They're not stripping the copper of the Amazon buildings. Trust me that. Believe you me, as my mom used to say. Oh, rest in peace, Ma. Ma, I hope you watch my live stream. My mom did a radio show. She loved that I was in radio. Now I do a live stream that brings you news commentary. Damn, I miss her. I just wish she got to meet my kids. And I wish she got to meet my brother's kids. My brother's kids are amazing. My kids are amazing. And it sucks because, you know, as your kids grow up, they start to ask about what grandma was like. What do you think about this? What do you think she'd be doing? That's the toughest part. You know? That's the toughest part. They're trying to have more revenue streams, 100%. But like I read on Reddit today, the wisdom of Reddit. Let's share some wisdom of Reddit. Like I read on Reddit today, it said, if in biology you took the philosophy of capitalism, and the philosophy of capitalism is limitless growth, keep generating more and more profits in a finite system, because we're on Earth. This is a finite system. Like, once Amazon owns everything, what are they going to do? You know, seriously, they drove out Kmart, Toys R Us. Like, once you own everything, what are you going to do? It's only so much money you can get from people. And if people work for you and you don't pay them enough, then guess what? They're not going to be able to spend money at your thing. So infinite growth in a finite system in biology is called cancer. And I thought, that's brilliant, because that's just biology. That's just nature. Nature. Cancer needs infinite growth in a finite system, right? And that's what capitalism is. Capitalism is infinite. They always need to meet Wall Street's expectations. And if you want to know what that phrase means, it means you need to always be making more and more money. Not just a quarter, not just a half, but a whole percent more, 2% more, 4% more, 8% more, always more, more, more. Wall Street's expectations are always more. But in a finite system, and especially when that more and more doesn't go to the people at the bottom, because if you were paying people more, guess what? They have more money to spend. Our economy is 70% consumer-based. And when it's going to the top and those people are fucking flying to space and building ships where they're asking countries to rebuild bridges so they can move their ship around, then guess what? The economy's going to suck. But it's also, you know, like, where do you go? Plan 10 years out. Who declared bankruptcy 7 times? Who? I don't know who. Ferrande? Trump? I think it's more than 7 times, say huh? And I don't know what was said about Trump, but that fucking dude. That dude again. If you work for a living and you heard what he recently said, he recently just said, even if it is 7 times, I mean, the dude is not a good dude. He just talked about how he doesn't want to pay people overtime, how he would try to hire different people so he wouldn't have to pay overtime, which would be time and a half or whatever overtime is for you. He is against workers. Remember, he's a business owner. He will do everything he can do. This is what I don't understand. Like, he is America. He's the epitome of America. Corporations are setting the laws for America. This dude will do everything he can to pay his workers the least so he can make the most. Remember, this guy bragged, if you don't remember, in the 80s and 90s, he had pictures of him with his gold toilet. He was known for having a solid gold toilet. It's probably spray painted, but he bragged that it was gold. This is not your friend. This is not a dude he would, want to make sure you had enough to eat. This ain't the dude. This ain't the dude. Never mind what he says. Look at how he's lived. Oh, Ruda, don't worry. Don't even sweat it. Listen, this is not the place to get upset. I get Trump people in here all the time. I don't care. What I try to do when I get Trump people in here is make them understand he ain't your friend. He's trying to pawn off a new 120-hour work week or something and cut out overtime. That's the whole comments about the overtime. So essentially, if you worked, let's say you worked, in the first 3 days? Let's just say you worked 72 hours, right? You just work straight. Well, because the work week would be a collective of hours and not per day or per, whatever. I forget what it was, how it breaks down. But look up Trump's work week thing. It would mean that you could work for 24 hours straight and there would be no overtime because it would have to meet the criteria of the entire week, which would fuck so many people. Okay, my wife's a nurse and she banks on like that overtime pay or the extra hours or once you work after a certain couple of shifts or whatever. It was in the news everywhere, Roger, that. Just look it up. Sorry, I didn't expect to talk about this. I would have linked it down below. But just look up Trump, the overtime. You'll see his quotes on saying he didn't want to pay people. But his weekly, hourly law thing. Please look that up because that's important for people to know. If people have not heard this, it's... And that's the thing about politicians is the way they phrase it, the way they position this stuff is like, oh, be good for you because then you could work. I don't know how he was positioned, but as soon as I saw that, and if you're somebody who works, I only know this because I know people personally in my life. Like I said, my wife, like once you work a certain amount of hours per day or within a certain whatever the week is, then they have to pay you that extra money, which comes in huge for a lot of people. That's usually how people make those ends meet. And Trump just trying to make the 1 week collective of a certain number of hours is going to cut out overtime for everyone. So that's a terrifying thing to hear a person openly saying that. If you work for a living, listen, if you make money off of dividends and real estate, then you got no concerns. I understand why you support Trump. Just like Dave Chappelle said. Dave Chappelle, a long time ago when he did SNL or one of his stand-ups, he said, listen, Trump, you poor white folks, he said, the poor white people that support Trump, he said, he ain't doing this stuff for you. 60 hours a week. Yeah, after 8 hours per day. That's what, sorry. Because it's different for or not only professions, but I swear to God, at one point my wife's work said they changed. Like my wife's work, I think it was, again, I don't want to speak out of school, but they had like a Tuesday to Wednesday work week. So essentially if you worked overtime from Monday through Thursday, they didn't have to pay you because it fell into 2 separate weeks. So how they set their pay periods up. But it should be that, like you're saying, like if you work 60 hours a week, 8 per day, but after 8, it's overtime, which I think is standard. But again, these companies do slick, slimy things to get out of that. And that's what Trump was saying. I forget what it was. It might've been, I forget again, just look it up. Yeah, federal law, but if the president changes it, well, and here's the thing about federal law, Roger, that these companies don't respect it. And I'm telling you firsthand, my company broke federal law many times. I have a court case right now against a major corporation because they broke federal law. And I told them, and I said, I talked about this at the beginning. I said, so you want me to break federal law for you? And they said, well, Starbucks has policies. And I said, and those trump federal law. And he said, well, when you're in Starbucks, our policies are the law. And I said, oh, really? I said, I guess you're sending me home then, because I'm not going to violate my rights and I'm not going to break the law for you. Gotta go. Ruda, good for you to stop by. I appreciate you. Salute. Have a good one. So yeah, Roger that. You got to be careful how they position these things and sell them to you. You know, it's good that you already know that, because if you've seen this proposition of the work week in total, you would probably catch on to that real quick. And you'd be like, yo, that's going to cut out my overtime after 8 hours. Fuck that noise. And that's what we need people to do. That's, you know, that's essentially what being woke is you wake up to this shit and you go, oh, so that's how you're trying to package this? The other thing I wanted to talk about is Pink Floyd had sold their catalog of music to Sony for $400 million, which I felt like that was a small amount of money. I think they were trying to get $5 million, but with Roger Waters controversy. And I don't have time to jump into all of that, but that's another fascinating thing, because these bands, like, think about that. Pink Floyd's music catalog, epic, legendary. It is some of the most iconic music of all time. And you would think 400 million is like lowballed, right? For Pink Floyd music. I just never understand when bands do that. In fact, there's a book I want to buy about the Doors trying to sell their music to, I forget, Escalade or Cadillac or some luxury car brand. And Robbie Krieger was like, nah, we ain't doing it. Was it Robbie? I think, was it Robbie or John Dunsmore? Might have been Dunsmore. I forget. One again, I didn't get the book. I want to get it. But that book about how one of the Doors was like, no, Jim would never have fucking sold our music to some corporations, and he really fought for it. And I thought that was honest and noble and fucking rad, because if Jim was alive, Jim would have never done that. And they were trying to cash out on their music, which, I mean, I guess if they're hard up for money, you know, but most of them probably guess they own mansions. What are they, you know, thinking about a reverse mortgage or something? But yeah, I want to get that book. Once I get that book, I'll put it in the, if you join the Discord, link down below. If you join the Discord, I have a book recommendations. I'll throw it in there if anybody else can afford it before me. Because again, I try not to buy stuff from Amazon, so I got it in my eBay. There's a used bookseller I like to purchase from in Savannah, Georgia, I think it is. There's one in New York, one in Georgia. And I like to buy from the used booksellers on eBay, keep them afloat. And it's like 16 bucks. I can't afford it right now. Because again, I use my own money, not my wife's. She has to carry everything else. So when I want to splurge on a book, I got to save up for a few weeks. No, I'm not working today. My wife works today. Pink Floyd got screwed, right, Richard? Richard Andrew Crosby? I think they got screwed on that. I think, yo, when you think about their iconic music, 400 million is nothing, and that's probably pocket change to Sony. Have you seen this new cat on tour, Jesse Wales? I'm a music man. He's awesome. No, I will check it out. Thank you, Seha. Jesse Wales. Oh, wait. Jesse, does he do like the working class music? He does like the folk songs, right? Seha? If that's him, I've been following him for a long time. He used to have a different rock band, which I didn't know before. And now he's kind of gone country with the acoustic guitar. Seha? Yeah, he's all over TikTok. He has a great YouTube. Is it Jesse Wales? Check him out. Find him. I'll put him in the Discord too, because he is amazing. He is one of the best. He is our time's Bob Dylan. The music he writes is phenomenal. The Don't Blow the Whistle about Boeing song. If you haven't heard that, Wilco Roger that, you'll love him. If you're still in here, please check out Jesse Wales. Is it Wales? I thought his last name was something different, but you're probably right. But check out Don't Blow the Whistle by Jesse Wales, if that's his name. It's about Boeing whistleblowers, and he's writing Bob Dylan-esque folk music, like songs like The Hurricane. You know what I mean? Like, he's writing contemporary songs of our times. It is incredible to see him. The Richmond north of... No. Not the Richmond north of Richmond guy. No. He's a totally different dude. If you haven't heard him, Roger that. I promise you, if you come back tomorrow, Friday, you will thank me. You will thank Seha for bringing that up, and you will thank me for telling you about this, because this dude is phenomenal. One of the best lyricists, songwriters, and it's the most simple but brilliant folk. I think it would be classified as folk country music. Yeah, do yourself a fit, Jesse Wales. But I don't think it's spelt like Wales, like WH. I think you had it right the first time. I thought it was something else. Because it's like Jesse Wells. It's Jesse Wells. Wells. Because it's Wells music. I think it's Jesse Wells. Say hi. Wells. Yeah, check him out. He's fucking out of sight, man. Wells, that's it. Yep. Wells. All right, guys, we're gonna end on that. A big salute to Roger, that's uncle, who passed away last week, man. That's sad. I hope your family is healing, and remember, it's okay to not be okay. Grief is a very tricky, deceitful thing, and sometimes you don't even realize you're grieving. So if you need to, give yourself a moment. There's nothing wrong with that. We're human. Remember, we ain't robots. We are humans. I love you too, Seha. It has been a minute, man. I'm glad to see you. I'm glad to see you. And this goes up to my mom. I think she would love that I was doing like a news commentary show. Big salute to my mom on her death anniversary. I miss you and I love you. All right, guys. Have a good one. Peace.